It's movie day. I'm Ray Love Jr.
And I'm Tre'vell Anderson.
And we are Seated, the blackest show about movies.
Yes. Today we are getting into JLO's latest movie, Kiss of the Spider-Woman. And
ain't no Peter Parker up in here, but
that's crazy.
It's our first musical on the docket.
That's crazy. And yes, it is our first musical. I am looking forward to diving into that.
Yes.
Okay.
But before we get into the movie, as usual, I would love to know if anything in the Hollywood headlines struck your fancy this week.
So, you know, what's interesting is like the last few weeks we've been doing this show, a lot of our Hollywood headlines have all been about these like musicians who, bypassing traditional distributors and putting stuff out into the theaters. We've talked about Taylor Swift. We mentioned Beyoncé doing it as well. Well, Mary J. Blige.
Boots!
Yes, Boots, okay? Apparently is doing a concert film of her own and is going to be putting it in the theaters, okay?
Auntie was on tour?
Yeah, she's always on tour. Mary J. Blige is always performing.
Yeah, I think that's why I'm like, what? What is? Oh, the For My Fans. Is that the one?
That is the name of the latest tour, if I'm not mistaken. But this is her first concert film. They're calling it. It's supposed to include a number of performances throughout the years, not just this last tour. But they did film some parts of what will be in the film back in April during her tour, and it's going to be in theaters globally. They say on November 5th and November 8th. So you will only have 2 days to go see it if you are particularly interested in seeing the creator of the word dancery on the big screen. I'm sure there's something to it being those specific dates. Because usually, you know, it's like at least a weekend release, or if it's a one night only, it's one night only. Yeah, but it's like it is independent, and we should note no shade to the legendary queen of hip hop soul, but her cheese ain't as cheesy as Madame Swift or Madame Beyoncé. You're right about it. Yeah, she also has alimony to pay to that ex-husband Kendu that took up everything. Oh, you talking about Mary? Okay. Yes. For some reason, I was like, Beyonce got alimony? No, hold on. No. But yes. That damn Kendu. You know, she's still performing them songs. Well, although it doesn't seem like she won't too much anymore. Anyway, it gives the aunties something to go to the movies for. Check out, they ain't going. I think maybe they'll put on those expensive the Giuseppe boots that she put out, them gold boots. Yeah, they ain't doing that. They need a reason to wear them things, because they're not exactly everyday fare. You know? it wasn't meant to be. Okay, because if you could afford them boots, you ain't wearing them every day. So I'm gonna go ahead and put on my Steve Madden boots and tip on down and see what Auntie doing, because I love it. I love a good concert tour. Like, one of my favorite things from when I was a kid was watching concert DVDs, which is like a lost art now. But this is I guess 2025's version of that, with us getting Taylor. Well, Taylor's not my girl, but Taylor, Beyonce, Mary. I can't think of other artists, but I know other artists have done it. Justin Bieber, like, he did that era. I remember that. So. Oh, sure. I wouldn't know. Okay. All right. With that, we are going to take a little break. Okay. And when we come back, we are going to get into the web. Kiss of the Spider-Woman. So grab a snack and come on back. Let's get loud. Viva la revolution. Okay, guess we're doing it. Set almost entirely in a grim Latin American prison cell where two wildly different people are locked up together under a military regime, Kiss of the Spider-Woman brings together a hardened Marxist revolutionary who was under constant torture for information and an openly queer window dresser who was in prison for a sex offense. The film asks, what happens to two souls when all of their external defenses are stripped away and the only things they have left is each other's humanity in an oral retelling of an old Hollywood musical led by a 1930s version of Jennifer Lopez? Here we are, seated, to discuss what's formerly being billed as a musical thriller, Kiss of the Spider-Woman. But before we get deep into our thoughts on this here movie, Tre'vell, can we discuss the director, Bill Condon? Sure. Okay. So Bill Condon. Now, I should know, this is a good place to start, right? Because that was my entry point to this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the name Bill Condon, the man behind the legendary Dreamgirls, which is one of my favorite movies.
And we can't forget the Academy Award winning Chicago. He wrote that screenplay.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And I think both of those are great examples of movie musicals in particular, that specific kind of genre. And so my expectations were high. Well, let me take that back. They weren't high because also the lead of this is Jennifer Lopez. And I'm not trying to, down talk the beloved, but come on now. You know what I mean? And so I had mid-level expectations, is how I will say, based on the cast and based on Bill himself. What about for you?
That, I think, usually, I like to go into movies with as little knowing about the movie as possible. But with this one, I was like, let me do a quick Google at least to know a bit about this.
Because you didn't want to watch this for the record.
I mean, it's not that I didn't want to watch it. I was just like...
you said a musical,
I was
JLO.
indifferent about it.
Yeah.
But because it was a musical... I was in because I love musicals. Like, I'm a musical person. Like, I'm squarely in the target for this. And so when I saw that Bill Condon was a director, I said, this is going to be superb. It has to be. We have Dreamgirls, as you mentioned. We have Chicago. Like, all these things were in my back of my mind as I was watching this. But I think that is kind of what set my bar. And JLO was just like, she did Selena, so I was like, she can do musical numbers in a movie.
Certainly.
So that had me excited.
Certainly.
But also an interesting wrinkle in his resume is that he also directed the Breaking Dawn movies in the Twilight Saga, so part 1 and part 2, which... I don't recall those movies. I'm sure I've seen them. Everybody saw them. He also did the 2017 live action version of Beauty and the Beast with Audra McDonald. Did you see that one? That was actually pretty good. It was one of my favorite of the live action Disney movies that they did. It was the better end of them.
Okay. Yeah. So that's who's behind this movie and this property. Yeah. So, shout out to him. Let's talk about JLo though.
Yeah, so I know I mentioned previously that my favorite movie from her was Enough.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite role of JLo's in the back of your mind?
I do love Enough as a movie. I also love Selena. Another iconic role of hers. But I really did enjoy her in Hustlers, which I've talked about on this show already before as well. Like, she was doing her good acting, in that. But I really think JLo's best work is the rom-coms.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, and I know that, when folks are trying to be actors, they don't want you talking about Made in Manhattan or Monster-in-Law. But that kind of movie, right, that mid-budget romantic comedy kind of movie, we don't get those anymore. And JLo was one of those girls. Now, she was playing white in every movie.
She sure was. In this one too, but
it's a little...
There's some spice in it. It's a
little...
There's nuance, actually.
It is nuance.
Specific
it
to
absolutely is nuance. But so she's someone who has been in this industry as long as she has. She's done all kinds of roles in acting. And most people don't think she is up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's someone who I think... You mentioned her rom-coms being her, I don't know if best role is the right term, but at least the reliable term.
Okay.
Reliable roles.
I'll take that.
And I think it's because her stage persona as a musician is like Jenny from the Block. So playing the girl next door in a rom-com is like a cozy space for her, I think. And in this role, it's different. It's different. It's definitely different.
Okay, well then let's dive into the difference. So let's first start, we always try to start with what we like, or what we want to highlight about the movie. I will start, if you don't mind.
Please do.
And because I love musicals so much, one of the very important things that you have to get right is the aesthetic. Yeah. And the sets, right? And this is a film that is aiming to take us back to this old Hollywood, but
the golden age.
Yes, but Latinx, you know, Hollywood, but make it Latinx.
Yes.
Or old Hollywood, but make it Latinx. Which I appreciated. And the sets took me there. The costuming took me there. The dancing, the dancers, like, took me there.
What about the wig?
You're fine.
She was real blonde.
We wish she was real blonde. She was, but that felt like it was like a character choice. You know, that sort of kind of informed the narrative just a little bit. But I think, you know, I was reminded while watching this movie of some of the discourse around In the Heights.
Okay.
And when it came to a lot of the commentary was, you know, people felt like, you know, y'all acted like black Latinos, Afro Latinos, you know.
We're not in the mix.
We're not in the mix. We're very that, right? And so I was grateful to see that in this, you know, Latinx world that they have crafted here for this narrative, that everybody, every kind of color, every kind of brown was in there, and everybody looked amazing.
Yeah, they did.
Everybody looked amazing. You want to talk about beautiful gowns?
Yeah.
You know, and that is important when you're doing a musical, in particular, a period piece. That's a musical.
Yeah, I agree. The style is also something that I love. Like specifically the style of this is very specific. The credits. So the credit scroll at the very end was stylized in a way that was very of that like golden age era of Hollywood. And like I sat there and really just watched it. It was nothing, you know, out of the norm, but just being able to see that and like sit in a theater and witness that type of scroll, I thought was a unique experience. So definitely worth sitting through for that, I would say.
Okay, come on, highlight. Okay, come on, highlight. Okay, I'll take it.
So for me, this is definitely one of them ones that like I needed help when I left the theater, kind of understanding what the allure of this film was.
Okay.
Because it wasn't, for me, it wasn't great. It wasn't even good. Like, it very much so felt like 2 hours and some odd minutes in the theater for me. And so, like, I immediately did what I usually do is I turn to criticism to figure out, okay, how is this landing on other people? Am I missing something? Because at the end of the movie, people in my theater were applauding, and I was sitting there like, okay, so something is clearly missing me here.
Yeah.
So I had a bit of a challenge pulling or extracting things that I liked, which was unusual for me because I'm usually able to find,
those things. Well, I will, before we dive into it, I will note that I do think that of the acting performances, Tonatiuh, I believe is how you say,
Tonatiuh, yes.
Tonatiuh,
yes.
is the highlight. To me, this is Tonatiuh's movie.
Yeah.
You know, sorry, JLO girl.
Yeah.
But Tonatiuh ate you up.
Yeah.
Okay, Tonatiuh. Okay, ate you up. You know,
they had a lot to do in this movie.
Like, a whole lot to do, which I do have some complicated feelings about, which we will get into. But I felt, had great opportunity and really delivered when it came to the various nuances that their characters, right? Because all of the actors in this movie play multiple characters, right? Which is interesting. That's and different characters that require different skill sets. I feel like you're doing
different tones.
Good word. Different tones. And so Tonatiuh, to me, is the most effective at all of the tones that their character has to pull off.
They put the tone in Tonatiuh, that's for sure.
I'm screaming. I'm screaming. Get out of here. So I do want to highlight them, you know, as well when I'm thinking of you know, positive points.
Yeah, I had one more that I was able to identify, and that is related to Tonatiuh's performance, is the dramatic turn that happens in the third act that really gives his character and the story consequence, which is, I think, something that I don't typically. I don't know if I need or expect that much in musicals when I'm seeking them out. When I think of like my favorites, like a Dreamgirls or like a Rent, they do have consequence. But yes, I don't find that until that third scene. I thought that how that landed and how it was placed in the story was effective, because that's essentially what we're left from with the movie. Like, everything essentially culminated into what happens at the very end. So,
yeah. Well, let's go into it now, because we all obviously have more to contend with this narrative than we do to applaud. And so one of my takeaways, one of my feelings walking out the theater was that this movie should have been just the movie that is the source of this narrative.
Because this is a story within a story.
Right. It is a story within a story. Yeah. And the reality is, I personally, I think, would have just liked to see the musical itself. This back and forth, this interplay narrative with Diego Luna as the revolutionary and will they, won't they? He don't like gay people, but then by the end he blowing out homegirl back. Y'all got to come on blowing now.
Out. Oh my God! Please.
Well, he was. He was. It looked good too. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So that was something that I was challenged with.
Yeah. What challenged you?
Because I went in wanting a musical and to be in the musical space. Yeah. And knowing that Bill Condon did Dreamgirls and did the screenplay for Chicago, what I loved about both of those is that we were set in the world where the music is happening. And he was able to really vividly color the musical scenes within that world still, but making it distinct enough to where it felt like it was fantastical in that musical way. But in this film, we're getting two different worlds. And I, going in with the very limited understanding of what the movie was going to be, thought that we were just being set in that prison to like introduce us and throw us into the musical world. And the musical world is where we're going to live in for the majority of the movie. And maybe coming back to it at the end, like being like, oh, well, this is actual reality. Right. But no, it is a consistent bouncing between those two worlds, which I found to be frustrating because I just wanted to be in the musical world. Yeah. And the musical wasn't even
good.
Yes, but it wasn't meant to be.
Well,
and I say that because in the script, oh my God, what is Tonatiuh's character's name? Molina. They make a point to talk about how it is a kitsch or campy thing that's just meant to be enjoyed and not intended to be like Citizen Kane, which is a literal call out that happens. And she's not meant to be, they literally call out Meryl Streep and Glenn Close, which I was like, damn, how old are they? Because it's set in the 80s. And I was like, I didn't realize that's one thing I did do was go back and like look at both Meryl Streep and Glenn Close's resume to see when they started acting to make sure this was accurate. And they've been acting since like 79, 80s. And so they were very much so in this. But I wanted to just live in the musical world. And coming back to the prison was just so drab to me, which makes, you know, what they were doing effective, but also like that's not what my expectation was. So I think that was the thing that really bothered me the most.
Right. I think my problem with it was that because when you return to the prison narrative, some of the purpose, right? The purpose of the returning to the narrative is supposed to convey to us, right, why Molina strives so much and holds on so much to this vision, this dream. And this gets me to another point of consternation I had, which is this talk around Molina's identity. And the character says over and over, like rejects being called a man, rejects, all anything that you could consider to be a traditional expectation of manhood or masculinity, and they talk about identifying with the Spider Woman, the kiss of the Spider Woman, because that's who they see themselves as, right? And we don't have any resolution with the identity piece, which makes me think, right? One, it pisses me off. But two, it makes me try to think about, you mentioned this is the 80s. And so in my head, I'm like, okay, is there something about the time period that would have made this narrative be the gay narrative, right? It's a gay narrative or a queer narrative, not necessarily a trans narrative.
But then it does become a trans narrative.
Well, it does.
Which I was like, okay.
Those are some of the places where it kind of falls, falls apart for me.
Specifically to that point, every time they expressed their identity and who they saw themselves to be, Diego Luna's character Valentine always came back with, "You are a man."
Yeah.
In a very almost as if this were supposed to be affirming or empowering to them to say, "You are a man."
Yes, that was the attempt.
I was just but they're telling you they're not. And what is this? What is the point of this specific tension if we're going to where we ended up? I thought this was going to, I honestly did not expect this to become a lover story. I thought this was going to just become a story of friendship found and understanding found for different types of people. And this Valentine character becoming more endeared and understanding to a queer person's identity as opposed to wanting to, rod them.
Rod them is crazy, Ray. That is crazy.
Try to
Ray.
keep it PG.
Are you? Okay. No, but the build up around whatever we want to call their relationship, those two characters, by the time he cuddles up next to Melina, to me it's not earned.
It's not, and that's why I didn't expect it to get there.
Just narratively, it's not earned.
And I feel like it would have been more meaningful and impactful if it were really just a story of this person learning compassion for a queer person without getting something from them.
Right.
And I feel like them having bed them is them being rewarded in a way for that. And I did not like that.
And let's also just pinpoint the fact that the character dies at the end.
Yeah.
Molina dies at the end.
At a consequence of their relationship and entanglement with this person.
You
Marxist.
hear it, you see it, you understand it. And they don't even get to die as the self that they say they are. You know what I mean?
They don't get to realize that until they go into this fantasy through death of becoming, which was interesting. First we see them presenting masculine, and then suddenly there's a femme identity turn that happens.
This is in one of the
as
flash,
they're dying.
Yes.
In their death.
Yes. Yes.
Like they're watching themselves in the theater as if they're the performer on the screen, and we see this sequence occur as we know they're lying dead on the side of the sidewalk.
Yeah. Y'all gotta leave the girls out of the narrative.
The priority was a revolution because they are killed by one of the revolutionaries because they have information, and the revolutionaries prioritize
the revolution.
The revolution.
So yes, that's a good point.
Yeah.
One of the people that Molina is after being loved, if you will, they get
touched
out. Okay, and they decide to pass on whatever messages from Diego Luna's character and end up dead at the end. Meanwhile, days later, weeks later, I can't remember the time element, but Diego Luna walks out of the, once the military is overthrown or whatever. And I hate that shit.
It felt so empty for me. I was like, all of this for that? Like,
Yeah. We wanted a different movie. That's which I often recognize when I'm doing film criticism is that like sometimes I just attach to something else that I feel like would have been better. But I often try to judge what is in front of us. Yeah. And the reality is what is in front of us is incomplete to me. It is not, very little of the narrative feels earned. And as a result, we didn't even talk about the music itself in the musical. The music is not great. Yeah. I do not want to sing any of these songs.
I was going to ask you if there was a single song that stayed with you, or there was no theme. Like
I don't know not nary song.
Not a single one. Like everything felt so.
There's no fake your way to the top, okay? There's no, and I am telling you.
There's no 500, 25,000, 60, nothing.
Okay? Yeah. There's no big, blonde, and beautiful, okay? Yeah. There is none of that. And I think, right, that is an expectation that I have of a modern day musical. You're calling it a musical. I have a kind of expectation in my head. And this is not that. Yeah. This movie makes me want to blame Amelia Perez for...
I want to be the one to say it.
Because... And I know y'all think y'all like that little song, that El Mal song or whatever it's called that them people want. But this narrative felt as empty on the identity aspects of it as Amelia Perez felt to me.
Yeah.
It just felt like character plot points, not this rich understanding or history of who this person is that is informing their decision making. Yeah. You know, and it that was frustrating for me when this should be. Right? This should be an opportunity for particularly someone like me to see fabulous, wonderful, even progressive to a point representation on screen. And the character and the way the character's queerness, potentially transness, because we do not know, non-binariness, whatever we want to call it, it is just not... Y'all keep putting us into the things without putting us into the things. And it's pissing me off.
Yeah, without no care. Yeah.
That's all.
I really... Our hero character essentially is a tragic figure in this movie. Like, and I was really, when I come to musicals, I don't go to musicals for that. Like, I didn't expect this to be Les Mis. Like, I was like, this is bleak. Like, this is like, I'm usually ready to come in because we only get, like, if we're lucky, 1 or 2 musicals on the release calendar, and I'm like, all right, I'm coming in ready to defend the musical for the year, like, let's do it. But this was not one I felt like I could lead the charge with on, like, advocating for musicals in theaters. Thank God we have Wicked for Good coming because I have a second chance at arguing for musicals, but this can't be the one that like I really go to bat for. But I do want to bring the conversation around to specifically Miss Jennifer Lopez. And because she is the one who's getting the most attention, obviously because of her name and the talent she's expected to bring to this film as a musical and someone with a musical background.
Sure.
What did you think of her performance overall?
I don't think this was a role, narratively speaking, that allowed her to do what she might have thought it was going to allow her to do. Like, I don't know what she read on the page that made her say, yes, I'll do this movie. Yeah. Because I guess she's the female lead of the movie, I guess, because the narrative is also wrapped up around this idea of her character. But every time she came on screen, something felt a little muted to me. Even the vocal, and I know JLO ain't the best vocalist, but I wanted just an inch little more on the vocal, particularly because this is, this is a very Latin forward situation, circumstances. The colors are very rich and evocative, right? Of a tropical.
They end up in a village
exotic,
at one point.
Like, kind of space. And I just wanted the texture and the tone of the singing to also feel, Viva la Revolution.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I knew going in that we weren't going to get a high quality texture or tone from vocals from JLO. So, but what I was hoping for was that somebody in this cast was that like what Jennifer Hudson was to Dreamgirls in a way where it's like we had that one singer that really came and delivered a moment that was like, yes, power, music, like there's something happening here, but she's limited to, the reality of her abilities.
Tonatiuh.
I try to say that with like, shade, but like, that's just like, that's the true tea on her, vocal.
But I don't think we needed a J HUD vocal. Right, because let us also remember, in a Dreamgirls, Anika Noni Rose was holding her own, and she wasn't necessarily as loud.
Dreamgirls may not be the best comparison because it's a movie about a singing group, so like singing is going to be up in that thing.
and is black.
But in that case, like J HUD still soars above singers because of like the text. So it's like
absolutely. I agree with that point, but yeah, maybe Dreamgirls isn't the best comparison. Rent is probably a little better, but I think the ultimate problem here for me again is the music.
Yeah.
And yes, part of that is connected to what we may want to articulate as like the talent or like the singing or vocal ability of JLo. But ultimately, I feel like it is also, there ain't no catchy songs.
Yeah.
There's nothing that sticks to me about this movie, and that is the disappointment. Because musicals should stick to even La La Land.
A song. Yeah, give me at least a song. Like every musical movie I can think of has like a song that has a theme that recurs throughout the movie where you may hear it playing instrumentally and it like is maybe revisited in a vamp or something.
But we should also note the difference, of course, right, between this movie, Kiss of the Spider Woman, and all these others that we're comparing it to is all those others are 360 musicals. Yeah. Whereas this one is trying to do that sort of kind of present day in the movie experience with this flashback to, this campy kind of movie situation. So that is a slight difference.
And the other thing is that like the music just lacked variety. Like all of the songs, because we were going back to like the Latin vibe and like she was constantly dancing in a ballroom, it kind of felt monotonous after a while.
Absolutely.
Where it was like we're getting the same style of music, and there was like an effort at a couple of like slow numbers, it never felt varied enough for anything to stand out or even like inject any pulse or energy. And like that's what I really wanted. I was like, all right, we know JLo can dance.
Right. And she did that very well.
She did it very well. And something I've been hearing and reading a lot about is that people are like, oh, she's doing different dancing. I was like, the dancing she's doing here doesn't feel different. Like I've seen her perform and she does
it's different.
It's
real.
It's rigid. It's more rigid.
It's more formal to these kinds of dance styles.
But it's not a style I haven't
seen
her do before where it felt transformative. It didn't feel like different to the degree of like, oh, I didn't know she could do this. It was like, oh, well, yeah, of course she.
You said, duh.
Yeah.
You said.
Yeah. So
I do want to highlight. We talked about the costuming earlier. Colleen Atwood, I'm seeing, is the costume designer who is, legendary costume designer. Okay, has I think has received the 12 nominations for Academy Awards for her costuming. She did Chicago. She did Memoirs of a Geisha, Alice in Wonderland, just to name a few. And that is one of the things that I was like, oh, okay, yeah, y'all should be, if this becomes recognized in any way, shape, or form, in terms of broader recognition or whatever. Yeah. I could see costume design. I could see, some set design, because I thought those were vibrant and reflective of kind of that simple setup that we often saw in old-timey musicals that felt apt for what they were trying to do with those scenes.
I did like the humor they used in how they portrayed scenes of that era, specifically when we got to like the chase and we saw them like in the car and obviously like the green screen or whatever that, however they said that. It was funny to see them in the car just like bouncing around in that faux setting or whatever. Yeah. But to your point about the sets or the costuming rather, what was your favorite costume and set in the movie?
Near the end, my favorite. So some of the spider web set.
Yeah.
Chop.
Yeah, it wasn't that strong.
What are y'all doing?
Even the wig and like the fringe.
That little black wig, y'all gotta stop it.
Keep it.
Y'all gotta stop it. I don't know who said Black Widow, who said that gave Black Widow, but girl, my God, today. And it is a very diametric, right, wig and look to the celebrity character. So like I get, blonde and black, I get it. But my God, today. But I would highlight, I really enjoyed Molina's, one of the last outfits Molina wears. It's like this button down top that comes into this corset skirt situation that I thought was a beautiful kind of costumed rendering of this mask femme non-binary, mix. So I my eyes went there. But a number of the, kind of performance pieces, if you will, that JLO wore. There's one that comes to mind where she's in blue. Two different shades of blue and the matching shoes. When I really looked and was like, oh, the costuming, y'all are where there's a color story happening here. I like the menswear in this. Like I was like, oh, this is really clean and like well tailored, very of the era, like transported you to that time where like men were wearing full tuxedos to go like to dance. And I love that. I did love that. We haven't talked about Diego Luna. Okay, never mind.
It's not much to really talk about. He was what was that man's character in Chicago? Lord.
He was in Chicago too?
No, but
you mean the archetype.
Yeah, he was like the Richard Gere of this today.
I thought he was just there.
Yeah, exactly.
To be quite honest.
Just filling the role. Just not great. Did he sing?
I can't.
Did he have a number?
He probably did. He probably mixed in with because everybody had a song at least.
I wasn't really featuring him that much. But earlier you mentioned this being a movie that is not a 360 musical.
Yeah.
And I was like, what does this compare to of something that I liked and like loved versions of? And I thought about The Color Purple, which for background on Kiss of a Spider Woman, this is an adaptation that had a 1985 release that was not a musical. And it reminded me of the way that, like, just coincidentally, The Color Purple was released in 1985. And that was also not a musical. It had musical moments, but it was not a musical. And then in 2023, we got the musical version of The Color Purple, which, like, in this instance, we're getting the musical version of Kiss of the Spider Woman. So I'm wondering what maybe, like, creative liberties were taken to make this a musical, and would I have liked the non-musical version if I'd seen that? I hear it's a really good film. Yeah. It was like the first Academy Award nomination for like a Latin director or something like that. So it was noteworthy at least. So I think it was worth a mention.
Well, Bill Condon will not be getting recognized for the direction on this. I do not believe. But that's interesting because I do feel like the weakest elements of this movie are the musical elements, which again is in the hearing you describe the first film, which is also based on a play or a novel or something like that.
And I think the musical or scene that is being called back to is actually like Nazi propaganda in their story within a story in a way. So
I can see that. Yeah. But there is I forget what I was going to say, but the point is, something was off. Oh, I was going to say that in terms of the adaptation and what they made, how they injected a musical into this version, knowing that the musical pieces are reserved specifically for the flashback to the movie pieces, hearing your description, I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. Now I see why the movie is what it is, because y'all trying to shoehorn something in here and the music's not great.
Yeah, and it's
y'all made up these songs.
It's supposed to be Molina's escapism.
Right.
Which, do we think... I mean, I guess it speaks for itself, but do we think that was an effective visual of like someone's reality being contrasted with this musical world?
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of Molina basically recasting themselves and the other prisoner person, and, you know, recasting themselves as the men in the musical in that flashback. What you got?
And you saying that, I'm just realizing that foreshadowed what happened to Molina's character.
Yes, it did.
The kiss that happens when the character dies, that they cast themselves in, dies well ahead of like Molina actually dying in the movie, and it just clicked for me.
Yes,
in hearing you speak about that.
Yes,
yeah,
and it's because the movie is supposed to be this, like, you know, rumination on sacrifice and love and the various ways love can show up. Yeah. Right? Yeah. It doesn't always have to be romantic. Yeah. And that kind of interplay.
And also the character discovering their self-worth or value, because they also contrasted his coming into a relationship with the Valentine character in prison to the one that he got arrested for. Right. And then we see them meet the character and like resolve that and saying, you didn't love me, you just loved the attention I gave you. And like, I was like, okay, I see what's happening there. But yeah.
Right. Yeah. But did Diego Luna, did Valentine love you?
He kissed him.
It seemed like Valentine just wanted a little nookie before you got out, and they wanted you to do their bidding, okay? And so they made you feel like the woman you know yourself to be.
Who's using who?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Tell me about it. Yeah. But yeah, so it's just a lot to talk about with this movie.
Speaking of the point of escapism, if you found yourself, because child ain't that unlikely in today's America, trapped in a prison, needing escape, what would
not you trying to put me in?
Not you
trying to put me in the walls, y'all. Okay, now you know I've been carrying around my freedom papers in this moment.
But what would be your escapism movie or musical if you had to sit in a cell and imagine yourself somewhere else for days on end? And it can't be Sister Act 2, because we know that's your favorite.
I do love that. It has to be a musical. Ideally.
Yeah, let's frame it in that way.
Let's do it in that way. Okay, I'm okay with that.
Oh, Lord, where we go?
I'm going with either like a movie music. Does it have to be a movie musical?
It can be whatever you want it to be.
Okay. I was going to say, what came to mind was like, you know, either...
something you can retell as vividly as Molina does.
Why did I think of Madea Goes to Jail? The play, not the movie. The play. Okay,
so we just suffer in all areas of life.
You asked me where I want to.
You want to escape to a suffraging.
Well, it depends on which character you are in the play. You know what I mean?
Who are the victors in a Madea movie?
Madea, Tyler Perry. Well, how you
said something? No.
I was also going to thinking through like either a, you know, Dreamgirls is a good one. I do love that, and it gives you all of that kind of like very period specific escape. The costuming, you know, all the things you would want to escape to. But we've been talking about Dreamgirls this entire time, so I wanted to offer some other options. Do you have one in mind?
I would probably. This is probably predictable, but I would probably go with. I want something where the protagonist like wins in the end.
What about Black Nativity?
That is a very specific reach?
Well, it's a black movie musical. And, you know, Angela Bassett could be your mama or your grandmama.
I see where you're going there, but I think I'm probably going to go with, I'm going to say The Preacher's Wife.
Actually, that's my answer.
That is a world I would love to live in.
That is a great one.
Yes.
That is a great
Whitney,
one.
my mama.
I was trying to
Jennifer
think
Lewis
of musicals.
is my grandma.
I was trying to think of musicals, and I was like, I don't want to do Hairspray because I don't want to go to that time period.
That is a very specific period to be trying to
I don't want to go to that time period, okay?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Well, I think we have thoroughly dissected our thoughts on Kiss of the Spider Woman.
We have.
I would love to know what Rotten Tomatoes has to say on this.
Okay.
So can you give us the tomato meter?
Yes.
Which is a
So the
score.
tomato meter is 77%. Okay. That's with about 87 critics at the time of our recording. 77, not bad.
It's not bad at all.
Not bad. That's passing.
Yeah.
And then the popcorn meter, though, okay, which is the audience, is 67. So the audience is liking it less than the critiques.
The audience is very much so on my vibe.
I mean, fair.
Yeah.
And then we have our Black Critic Spotlight, Aisha Harris of NPR this go around, who said, summed up the film with, quote, Luna and Lopez are great, but this is Tonatiuh's movie. He takes a role that could easily be a caricature of queer flamboyance and pathos and grounds it, pathos, I think y'all say pathos, and grounds it with the depth and soul, which I can't agree with.
Yeah, that's
Although I
fair.
hate the character, but I can't agree with that estimation of what Tonatiuh.
They rose to the occasion.
Yes. And so for you, seed it, skip it, or stream it.
I'm gonna go with a simple skip it on this one.
Oh, this is your first skip it.
This is my first skip it.
Oh no, I know this hurts you.
Not that much. Like when I'm decided, and this is gonna be a firm skip it for me. I wouldn't watch this at home.
Real.
And I would not recommend anyone spend their coin or their weekend time in a theater watching this. So sorry to say, but skip it.
I too am a skip it. Okay.
This is the first one that we. No, it's not. It's not. It's not our first.
I'm about to say this is the first time we've agreed.
No, it's not.
I think we've agreed.
It's the first time we both got to skip it though. That's for sure.
Okay, how you doing? Okay, we are going to take a little break, and when we come back, we're going to play another round of Black Cinema Gigs.
Back again, and now it's time for my favorite segment this weekend every week, Black Cinema Games. All right, are you ready for this week?
Yes, I am.
All right, this week we're going to be returning to the soundbite game for obvious reasons.
Okay, because I'm better at this.
And we also can't have a musical episode and not have sounds.
Okay, valid point. Are these all going to be musicals?
Yes, actually.
Oh, damn.
They will all be musicals, and I think I'm ratcheting up the difficulty a bit here for you. With maybe some less expected musicals. Trivia. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's do it. Let's do it. Of course, all the time. You out there watching at home, listening at home, feel free to play along in the comments, all right?
Yes, and so I'm going to tell you the rules. This is the soundbite game, and I'm going to play you a clip, and you have to guess the black classic from the sound.
Okay, great. It's black movies. I always forget.
They're always going to be black.
Yes, and I love this for us. I love this for us, and I love this for me, okay?
Yes. Ready for your first clip?
Let's do it. Okay.
Here we go. That's all you get.
Oh, well, I don't know. I don't. I'm like, it gave, there's tap dancing.
Yes,
so
that's why I let that play, because it's very much so.
Yeah, so it's tap dancing. So I'm like, what movie has tap dancing, but it's also, this is an older movie.
Very
just
old.
from the music.
Very classic, very iconic. Probably one of the most iconic of the era.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, Black?
Yes, I'll give you a clue. The title is a song, iconic song.
Oh.
That is the titular song of the film.
I don't have it. Oh no.
I told you it was gonna be hard this week.
Oh no.
Well, this was the Nicholas Brothers and Cab Calloway performing in Stormy Weather.
It
was the iconic tap dancing.
Yes.
Yeah. And the movie stars Lena Horne, Bill Bojangles Robinson, and Cab Calloway. And
I haven't seen Stormy Weather. I've literally seen it once.
Yes, it's one of those like canonical. Probably films that if you don't revisit academically, you're going to encounter just in reference.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Dang. I knew.
You said you wanted to make them harder, so you know.
Well, not too hard. Okay. Right. Let's do number 2 then. I'm ready.
All right. So guess the movie from its sound, and here is number 2.
The way I see things, you work for me now. You get your greasy ass hands off of me.
Relax, son. He ain't mean nothing by it.
I'm not gonna tell you again. Say slick with you.
Okay. That's Terrence Howard.
We have 3 voices in this.
Yes, we do. Mm-hmm. We have Terrence Howard and 2 others.
Yes.
Okay. A musical with Terrence Howard. Get your. Is it a real musical or is this a fake musical?
A musical is a musical.
Okay, but is it a movie that has a number of notable musical elements, or is it a musical?
It's not.
It's not Hustle and Flow.
It's not Hustle and Flow.
Okay.
You done guess now, so you can't. We ain't gonna go down the road. So it ain't Hustle and Flow.
I'm like, oh dang! But what is Tyler? What is not Tyler? Jesus? What is Terrence Howard?
You have a Tyler Perry obsession, don't you?
Well, yes. It's called trauma. Not that kind of trauma, though. For the record.
So it's set in Atlanta. It was released in Idlewild. Yes, it is Idlewild. Yes.
Okay.
And that was the scene titled Trumpy Loses It with my cousin, Faison Love.
You know what's so funny? Come on, your cousin. I love that.
Yes.
I love that.
Love ain't that common.
I guess you're right.
Terrence Howard and Ving Rhames are in that scene as well.
Ving Rhames. That was the other voice.
You love forgetting the legend. But yes.
I love Ving Rhames. Shout out to Holiday Heart.
Holiday Heart. That's the one. Yes.
Period.
Yes. All right.
Wow. Idlewild. God, I haven't heard that movie.
You didn't get that because you guessed Hustle and Flow.
I didn't. You're right. I don't mind.
But you got to it. I
don't mind. I don't mind losing. It's okay.
Maybe we'll give you half a point.
It builds character.
We'll give you half a point.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you for your benevolence.
Are you ready for your third sound?
Last one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so we're guessing the movie from its sound, and here is your third clip.
Fortune telling probably should be over.
But the cards never lie. I thought I told you now it's her time to try to reach her goals before she reaches the sky.
Love, it's like I'm trying to throw my life away sometimes.
That's it.
Nope.
Dang.
Nope. Not at all.
I'll go back.
That sounded like Life Jennings or something.
You're in that era.
Most Def. Was it Most Def? It sounded like.
Is Most Def in that? I think Most Def is in this movie. I'm going to play you a little bit more of the clip.
Okay, I appreciate it.
I need a receipt. Truth only exists within the eyes of the beholder. Plus, he's kind of young for fortune telling. Probably should be older.
But the card.
I played that because it tells you where we're set in.
Oh, did
you
it?
Listen to the words.
I wasn't paying attention. Is it Carmen, a hip hopper?
Yes, you got one. Come on, you pulled that one up and out. Okay. Yes, I knew we could get you one. Yes,
come on, Carmen, a hip hopper.
It was indeed Carmen, a hip hopper. Okay. Directed by Robert Townsend.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, yes,
okay.
And this was billed as Beyonce's acting debut role.
Oh,
yes.
Okay,
yep.
Carmen was before Fighting Temptations?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, lovely.
Yes.
Love that for her.
Yes, and it aired on MTV, so it was like a TV movie.
It was a TV movie.
Yeah.
It was a TV movie.
One of my favorite, commercials came from that. It was her reprising the role, and it was directed by Spike Lee, the commercial for Pepsi.
Oh, yes, with all of the different versions of herself.
Yes, and it was like...
iconic.
Oh, gosh. Pepsi, for those who think young... the Pepsi fell, the Pepsi's lost it. Yeah, it was fun.
Okay, yeah.
But yes, you got 1.5 points this week. So,
thank you.
Yeah, shout out to you. This was a tough one. I did give you some unexpected.
You did, because who the heck is talking about Idlewild okay, or no shade to the legitimate classic Stormy Weather.
Yes,
legitimate class.
But definitely a reach. Yeah.
No shade.
But she got Carmen, a hip hopper, which is very
cult classic.
Yes,
but I also guessed. I'm not even gonna lie. I was like, this sounds bad.
Nothing trust to try. But anyway.
Okay. Anyway. Okay, let's get into our Good Vibes Only segment. These are our recommendations for you all. I'll get us started. Okay. And I want to recommend another podcast that I've been really enjoying here on the YouTubes, the ReLiving Single podcast.
Okay.
Hosted by Erica Alexander, who played Maxine Shaw, attorney at law, and Kim Coles, who played Sinclair. Nice. On the original show. It's a recap show, so they rewatch the episodes and they talk about the themes of the episode, and then also they spill some tea about what was happening in their careers or on the set at that time. They bring in different guests from the series. So John Hinton has been there, T.C. Carson has been there, and a few other folks, Kim Coles, the legend herself as well. And it's really good. Yeah. If you're just looking for something innocuous to put on after you hear us run about our mouth, if you don't want to go into the back catalog of the Seated show, okay, because you can do that too. Sure can. But you could check out ReLiving Single podcast. It's you can do it just the audio version if you're listening audio, but they also have the video version on YouTube. I've just really been enjoying, rewatching Living Single through this way and with them as opposed to
with
like
extra context.
Yeah.
So also I want to shout out the homeboy Eric Eddings, who was one of the executive producers of ReLiving Singles. So that was a really great pull. I'm coincidentally also pulling from the same space. So we're keeping you on YouTube. So if you're here as a YouTube watcher, you can probably just find us and click the link and go and check it out. Okay. My recommendation is actually two. The first one is going to be from two dear friends of mine back in Atlanta, Alex and Ricky. They have a beautiful YouTube channel called Our Boy Story, where they essentially chronicle their relationship. They're married. They've been married for years. They met in college. That was a fun story. But then this year, they actually decided to move forward with adopting. And they actually adopted their first child, and they're documenting that on their channel now. And it's been really great to just, from a distance, be able to keep up with my friends and like see their beautiful story coming into parenthood. And they're now calling it Our Dad's Story, but their channel is Our Boy Story.
I love that. That sounds real cute. They better make sure the paperwork is taken care of because, listen, that man is coming for all of us.
Indeed.
Okay, and our families.
Indeed.
What is your second recommendation?
The second one is also a friend and also a YouTube channel, and it is my friend Tracy May, and she has a beautiful show titled The Depression Nest, where she essentially is helping to clear out her space and the clutter of her space, as well as her mind, as she has been open about her battles with depression and just the space she's been in. And she just completed this beautiful project within her Depression Nest series where she built her own fireplace. And it's just like seeing a strong Black woman doing it for herself.
I'm screaming.
It's been nice to watch. So I love being able to keep up with my friends from a distance through what they share with the internet, and you can too. So check them out.
Cute. Yeah. Okay, lovely recommendations this week. That will do it for this episode. Alrighty, join us next week. We will dive into Luca Guadagnino's next movie, After the Hunt. It's got Ayo Edebiri in it. It's got Julia Roberts and her smile in it. Andrew Garfield. A little of that. That will be, and it was one of our selects.
It was. It was a fall movie preview.
So we've already seen it. We got thoughts. So you're going to want to watch that episode.
Yes. All right, check it out.
See y'all next week.
If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a like and tap that subscribe button. And if you're listening, give us a 5-star rating, because we are a 5-star show. We are a 5-star show. And review us in your podcast app or wherever you're tapping in today. It'll really help folks find us as we grow. Seated is an independently funded production, and your support can help us go further. Consider becoming a card-carrying member of the Seated Movie Club at seatedshow.com/join, where we'll be bringing you more of this popcorn-worthy content, special events, and more. And how do we do all that we do? Well, you know it's not by ourselves. Our theme music was created by Buckrow and animation by Adhi, with creative consulting by Jade Fox and publicity support by House of Heralds. This week's episode was edited by me, Ray Love Jr. Seated is a co-production of Slayzhon and FiftyLeven Media. It's hosted and produced by Tre'vell Anderson and Ray Love Jr. and filmed on location at the WalkGood Yard. See you at the movies. Holla! was like, girl, having hot flashes. Yo, you know what it is.
Girl.
It's that damn wine.
I'm about to say.
Because I'm not really a drinker, so that's why, like,
What you say?
that little sip done heated me up. All right.